Hello everyone, welcome to Betty Academy. Our job is to make school easier. Kindly subscribe, watch our videos, like, share, comment, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about how to pass journal entries. And before we move on to passing the journal entries, let's review the rules of accounting. And these are the particular rules when it comes to debiting and crediting. So if you have an asset, remember, if you had not watched our previous video on classification of accounts, kindly watch for you to be able to understand what we are doing here. So we have the rules of double entry. So with the rules, we have an asset. Every time you come across an asset, if it increases, what you do, you debit. Right? What you do, you debit, and when it decreases, you credit. So sorry, so this one applies to, we have, if you look at asset, expenses, and drawings, you have all the increases, you do what, you debit, all the decreases, you credit. And when it comes to liability, equity, revenue, or incomes, what you do, when it increases, you credit, and what you do on the other hand, when it decreases, you debit. So we are going to do this one. You should be able to learn this one. You'll get an in-depth understanding from an illustration that we have. Yeah, we are going to do it using with the help of an illustration. And here is the illustration, right? This one is the illustration. We have the illustration here. I hope you are able to see that. Yeah, that's the illustration. Yeah. I hope the quality on the picture is okay. So we start with the first one. The first one we have John started business with cash 1 million. John started business with cash 1 million. So what we are supposed to do is John is starting a business with cash 1 million. So with that particular cash, what you're supposed to do is what is cash? Cash is an asset. Yeah, from these rules, cash is what? Cash is an asset. So we have cash, will debit our cash, and again the money used to start a business is called what? It's called capital. In other words, that's what we refer to as equity. So equity, we credit. So we debit cash, and we do what? We debit cash and we credit equity. Or rather, you can even debit bank and you credit capital, right? Because you cannot have such kind of an amount in cash. So this one is we have the first one. This is the first one. We have debit bank 1 million, credit capital with 1 million. Then the other one is we have the second one, bought goods. Yeah, we have the second one, bought goods from Mary worth 5 million. So what are we are buying goods from Mary, and we've not been told whether it was on cash or on credit. But since that it has not been mentioned whether it's cash or on credit, what we are supposed to do, you debit. We are debiting what? You debit purchases. You debit purchases with the 5 million because it is goods meant to that those goods, they'll be used in trading in that particular farm. So you credit creditors. Then you go to number 3, purchase fittings for cash, right? You are purchasing fittings for cash. What is a fitting? A fitting is an asset. We said you debit, right? And again, we have cash. It was done on cash. So you do what? Again, it's an asset. The cash is decreasing, so you credit. I hope you are together up to that point. So what are we doing? We are debiting fittings with 80,000 and crediting bank with 80,000. Then we go to number 4. Sold goods to Smith 160,000. Sold goods to Smith. So it is the business that is selling goods to Smith. So Smith is our debtor. Yeah, and what happens? A debtor is an is an asset, right? A debtor is an asset. And the sales that you've done from goods, those ones are revenue. So what do? You debit what? You debit your debtor because it has increased, and you credit the revenue, right? Or sales. So in this case, you'll have number 4. We have debtors 160,000, you credit sales 160,000. Then we move on to number 5. Paid Mary 3 million. Remember Mary number 2 from transaction number 2 bought goods from Mary worth 5 million. So what was Mary? Mary to us is it is from this one, number 2. Mary to us is our creditor, bought goods from Mary on credit. So on this, at this particular point, we have paid Mary. We are paying Mary. So, and Mary being that she's our creditor, what are we supposed to do? A creditor is our liability. So when you are paying the creditor, you are decreasing the liability. So you debit. And that's why you have Mary being our creditor here. Number 5, you debit creditors 300,000, and the bank also, the money in the bank is decreasing by 300,000. Yeah, so I hope you're together up to that point. Then number 6, sold goods to Kamau 200,000. So we are making sales. What is happening to our revenue? We have our revenue here. We said revenue and incomes. Anytime it is increasing, you credit. So our revenue is increasing since we've sold goods to Kamau worth 200,000. And now that we've not been told whether Kamau bought the goods on cash or not, so what you are supposed to do, you just assume it was on account, meaning it was on credit. So we go to number 6. This is the journal entry for number 6. So it's debit, debtors. Yeah, our asset is increasing. Kamau is a debtor, and our sales being an income, it is increasing. So you credit. Transaction number 7. Received from Smith 154,000 and allowed him discount of 6,000, right? So we are receiving from Smith. Yeah, if you look at number 4, we had sold goods to Smith on account amounting to 160,000. And if you look at transaction number 7, this one clearly shows you we are receiving some money from Smith amounting to 154,000 and allowed him a discount. So we've allowed Smith some discount of 6,000. And if you add the two, 150,000 plus 6,000, you get 160, which is here. So what are we supposed to do? Smith, being that he was our debtor and now he's paying because we are receiving some money from Smith, it means the debtor is decreasing. And the debtor being an asset, anytime the asset is decreasing, we are supposed to credit. And when we have what? Again, it is in cash. What is happening also to the money in the bank? The money in the bank being an asset, it is also increasing. So you do what? You debit, right? And what happens to the discount allowed? The discount allowed, because we had sold the goods worth 160,000, but we've allowed some discount to Smith. It means the discount allowed in our case, it is an expense to us because we are losing some money. And so what happens when you have our expenses increasing? You debit, right? So let's pass the entry. We have number 7. So we have the money that we got from Smith, 154,000. So you take it to the bank, you debit. Then you credit discount allowed 60. You don't you don't credit. Here, sorry. What you're supposed to do, you debit. Sorry, that was an error. So you debit discount allowed with 6,000, and credit on the other hand debtors amounting to 160,000. So transaction number 8, paid wages 80. We are paying wages. What is a wage? A wage, wages are expenses. And you are paying. When you are paying, we have cash decreasing or money in the bank decreasing. So what are we supposed to do? Money in the bank is an asset. So if it decreases, you credit bank, and the expenses, wages, you debit. And that's what is here. When you look at the solution number 8, we have debit wages 8,000, credit bank 8,000. Then we go to number 9. Number 9, bought goods for cash, right? We are buying goods for cash worth 60,000. So if you are buying goods for cash, what happens to the money in the bank? So you're buying goods for cash. So it means if you're buying goods for cash, we have it's so let's continue. Number 9, we have bought goods for cash. So number 9, what you'll do, you debit purchases with the 60,000, credit bank with 60,000. Number 10, sold goods to Njoroge 340,000. So you are making sales to Njoroge. Njoroge is our debtor. So number 10, debtors with this 340,000, credit sales 340,000. Number 11, purchase goods from Jane 260,000. So 11, debit purchases to 60,000, credit Jane, who is a creditor, 260,000, and being a creditor is a liability. Yeah. Then 12, paid Mary in settlement 190,000 and discount allowed by him 100,000. So when you look at transaction number 5, we have not number 5, number 2, bought goods from Mary. Yeah, so Mary, number 2, is our creditor, right? Yeah, 500,000. So paid Mary in settlement 190,000 and discount allowed by him, right? So we have number 12. We have your debiting creditors. We'll deduct the whole amount, being so you'll have 200,000, but in the bank you'll have 190,000, but you will receive some discount, 10,000, and being discount received is a revenue or income. What you do, you credit. Yeah. Then we go to transaction number 13, paid carriage from goods and sold for 1,000. So number 13, so carriage on goods, it is an expense to us. It's the freight charges. So being an expense, what you do, being an expense, you debit, and that's why we have what? Carriage. We have carriage on goods here. We have carriage on goods 4,000, and the bank 4,000, money used to pay for freight. Number 14, paid wages 8,000. Yeah, what is a wage? Again, wages I had explained, it is an expense. So what do? The expense is increasing, so it's transaction number 14. So you debit wages 8,000 and credit bank 8,000. Number 15, we go to bought goods, yeah, from Mary amounting to 300,000. So that's number 15. So Mary is our creditor. Yeah. So what are we supposed to do? Bought goods, yeah, from Mary, and Mary is our creditor. So we made some purchases. So what are we supposed to do? Debit purchases 300,000, creditors 300,000. Number 16, bought goods for cash. Again, those are purchases. Purchases, we have 80,000 and you credit bank with 80,000. Number 17, sold goods to Kamau 360,000. So Kamau is our debtor. So what do? You debit debtor, being an asset 360,000, you credit sales 360,000. Number 18, Kamau paid on account 400,000. So Kamau being our debtor, yeah, so Kamau is paying. So you are decreasing the debtor's account. So number 18, we have you debit bank 400,000, credit debtors, which is under Kamau 400,000. Number 19, purchase goods. Yeah, this is number 19. Number 19. This is number 19. Yeah, I hope you're able to see. So purchase goods from Grace 150,000. So you debit purchases 150,000, credit Grace creditor 150,000. Number 20, sold goods for cash 160. 160,000. So we sold. So those are an income. So you credit sales with 160,000, debit bank because money is going to the bank with 160,000. I hope you've learned how to pass the journal entries. This is the end of our lesson. Kindly watch out for our next video, and again, don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell. So until next time, goodbye.